This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast, Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's Only One story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me in the Quarantine. I like it. You really can't. You can't blame anything. You can blame everything on the quarantine, and you really can't blame us.
True. Very true.
I feel we've got a nice cushion to protect us in all of this. I do feel highly protected, though, weirdly enough, in like I don't know, because I don't have to interact with other humans. I'm like, this is great. I never have to answer the door. I'm all about it.
That's true too. Because sometimes before, like if you got a delivery or something, they would insist that you come to the door, and now it's like they just drop it and run.
Yep. Well, guys, this is Don't Blame Me. It's an advice podcast. If you're new here and you want to call in, the phone number is 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. What other things are going on? What else do we have any other housekeeping shite?
No, I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? Are you watching Love Island yet? Ugh,
I've got
cool.
2 Housewives franchises going right now. So New York,
maybe I'll
New
start
York
it.
and Beverly Hills are both on right now at the same time. So, and Atlanta reunion, which they're doing via Skype. It's been like the best reunion ever because Andy has a mute button, and then people are going harder than they usually go. It's great.
Wow. I feel like I would enjoy that. He is a cute baby. He is a very cute baby. Ugh. This quarantine's made me want a baby so bad. Like, so bad. Because I'm also not getting my baby fix from Motz's nephew.
Hi, Megan. It's Melissa. I'm going to try this again and get to the point. Essentially, I'm stranded in New York during quarantine due to a lot of unforeseen circumstances prior to the pandemic fucking hitting. And I'm staying with a friend of mine who owns a house. And so I'm really grateful to be in that situation. The only issue that I have is with her tenant that lives in the basement, who is a 52-year-old man that has no friends, has no life, literally like, don't know what he's doing here, but also it's none of my business, so I could care less. Granted, now we share the kitchen because he refuses to get himself a microwave and a mini fridge and all the things that you would get in a studio fucking apartment. So he uses the kitchen, all the time. Okay, that's fine. But one time I was having a conversation recently with a friend. He overheard conversation and then went ahead the next day and tried to talk to me about said conversation. Mind you, I was literally in the kitchen cooking with my headphones and listening to your podcast, and he had to scream to get my attention because clearly the headphones was not an indicator enough that I don't want to fucking talk to you. So I take out my headphone and I'm like, what? And he's just like, oh, I just overheard your conversation yesterday and I just wanted to talk to you about it. And I was like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, completely thrown off guard because I'm just like, how dare you? Like, how dare you overhear my conversation that's personal between me and my friend and then think that I want to talk to you about it when I've never given you any indication that that's a boundary that I want to cross. So he went ahead and I put it back in my headphones. He still kept trying to talk and I had to turn around and be like, dude, I don't want to talk about this. And then he's like, oh, okay. And my roommate, I heard him yell my name and she was like, do you need me to say something to him? I'm just like, no, don't say anything to him because I feel like I'm in the rock and a hard place right now. Like, if he does anything like that, like, I'll say something. But overall, it's just been a trying time to live with someone so lacking in self-awareness, and I don't know what to do because there's no amount of conversation that needs to be had. I don't want to give him that satisfaction since he's lonely, and what he wants is a conversation. And I don't need to give you that. I don't owe you anything at all. You are a stranger to me. So it's just frustrating, and any advice you can give me on how to deal with the situation would be much appreciated. Love you guys so much. Thank you. I'm a character, by the way. And so is he. So it makes it actually extra hilarious to me that he claims to be so self-aware when he's really fucking not. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye.
You're from New York? Wow. Would have never guessed.
You are. And everybody's going to be like, she's a Cancer? And it's like, no, she's a New York Cancer. She's a New York Cancer. They're a different breed. Oh my God, girl.
First,
holy
I need
shit.
you to take a deep breath.
I need you to get some weed and hit a joint. Like, I feel very bad for everybody who do not have great connections with their drug dealers right now in cities that they don't have legal marijuana. But shit, girl.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Deep
Yeah.
breaths. It's okay. Wow, that was a lot. I mean, I think I totally understand where she's coming. Like, I totally get where you're coming from because you do not owe this guy anything. And in my mind, I'm picturing kind of like a crusty old white man who like makes you uncomfortable. I'm not picturing like a sweet, I don't know, like Steve Martin type. So I think that like it's just figuring that there's a difference. And I think you have to go with your gut. And I don't want anyone I know that you said that he's lonely, and that definitely tugs on my heartstrings and thinks like, oh, he just wants to have a conversation. But I would assume if you have this like visceral kind of reaction to him, it's you know what I mean? Like, it's a vibe that you're getting from him that feels icky and doesn't feel, it feels like he's kind of crossing a boundary and a line as opposed to like it's like, as opposed to like the old man from Up or something like that, where it's like very, very harmless. Or you're just at your wit's end and you're losing it and you just don't want to have a conversation with anybody. So I think I don't know why you said to your roommate though, to
it's
not
her
say anything.
Place. Also, I want to start from like you saying he won't get like a hot plate or a microwave or whatever in a mini fridge. But like, if it was required of him to get that, then it would have been in the lease agreement. So if the roommate is allowing him to use it, you can't like be mad at her, or your friend is allowing him to use it. You can't be mad at her. You're the guest in this situation. It's her place. He's renting from her. He's paying money. You're the guest. So you can't be mad at him being around. So yeah. And then going back to what you were saying, like if he's going to, or why you said that you wouldn't tell your friend to say anything, it's her job. Like, it's literally her place. That's what she's supposed to do. So if he's bothering you, you being the guest, then your friend should go to him and have the conversation about the boundaries. You're inserting yourself into something that you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, because I think even when you said, like, oh, well, if he says something again, I'll say something. But the issue also there is you're not paying rent. Like, it's like, again, like you're saying, it's your friend's place. You're staying there for the foreseeable future. So it should be
her mediating that situation so there isn't any tension between you guys. Because let's say that like it does blow up and it's shitty. I don't know if the girl you're living with, I don't know if she has any other source of income, but this rent, that might be like she needs that. And it's going to be, if it's him or you might not win in who's going to be able to stay. So yeah, I don't get why. I don't know. I also think you might want a little bit of the confrontation at this point, because I think you've built up a frustration towards him. And maybe the girl you're staying with, maybe your friend has been kind of like venting to you about like, ugh, and he like won't get this and he won't do this. And so you're feeling upset and frustrated on her behalf, but that's also not your problem. Like that's her problem. Like if she's frustrated that he's using the kitchen, she shouldn't let him use the kitchen. Like it's not any of that sort of stuff. And then I would say also, just in general for this time, I think the more that we can check our own feelings and reactions and everyone else's feelings and reactions, to know that nobody knows really what they're doing and everybody's kind of dealing with stuff and they're dealing with it in a different way. So giving yourself that kind of grace when you react in a way that you're like, oh, wow, I don't think that was warranted, or why am I feeling this way, in the same way with other people. But if you feel uncomfortable and uneasy about him having access to said apartment and the same and having like a shared space, if that makes you feel like gut instinct, like this feels really icky and bad and scary, then I would, if your friend who you're living with, if she's never had an issue and she doesn't have that feeling and she's okay with it, I would see if you can stay with somebody else, because I don't know, unless the situation hasn't been working for her. But if the situation hasn't been working for her, that's also she has legal rights as a landlord and him, that whole thing. So that should be addressed in a different situation. But there's also no shame and no harm of like realizing that this is not the ideal living situation for you and having it be an okay living situation for her, and then finding somewhere else. But also it is a hard time to find a different place to live. So maybe that means you kind of paying attention, or knowing when, having a conversation with him first and saying, hey, what's the schedule that you are like tend to be in the kitchen? Like, I'm assuming it's a very small space. It's New York. And knowing when he, like around the times that he's using the kitchen, and then stay in your room or stay in a different place at that time, and then go use the kitchen at different times to avoid him. But I think you do kind of need to have a conversation with her, definitely, but maybe even with him, to kind of find that out, to make your lives work better together. Because I think right now you're at your wit's end, and I feel like this might be bad. Like, I feel like you are gonna snap, and let's avoid snapping. You know,
you don't,
like we're all gonna do it eventually, but let's avoid it,
especially because you won't have anywhere to go. So
yeah, and you're in New York,
and you're already on a 10.
Yeah. I also want to know, for you saying that like you hate it, like you don't, maybe he just talks so much and that's where you picked this up. But like I was under the impression like through this that you were like, I don't want to talk to him, and he just keeps, the fact that you know that he's a Cancer, that he like thinks he's very self-aware. Like what are these conversations? Like that's so weird. Like what are you like? Why are those the things you know about him? Like it's just odd. And I also do wonder what the conversation you were having with your friend is, because that would definitely determine the weirdness factor. Like if you were talking about a TV show or a movie that he loves, or like a vacation or a trip or someplace he's always wanted to go, or someplace that he's been, or something like that. But if you were talking about like sending nudes and he's like, oh, I want to talk about like, I think that but you can also trust your gut to know, are you feeling annoyed by him because he's just pissing you off because you're just in this heightened sense of anxiety state? Or is he some creepy dude that you feel uneasy around, and in that case get the fuck out safely, or just hide in your room? All of those. Fucking weird. But
I would suggest, I mean, maybe some meditation. I know, Megan, you hate that, but
you can't do it.
Something that's gonna calm you down.
Actually, every person I know who lives in New York meditates. I don't know anyone who lives in New York who's not. You have to. It's a high stress time.
It is.
Oh, well, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay out of the kitchen.
A new year means new opportunities, and if you've been thinking about starting your own business, let this be your sign to take the leap. Of course, this decision comes with a lot of questions, like, how do I get started? How do I come up with a brand? How do I sell stuff to people? What am I even going to sell? Well, if you have all those questions, you can take a deep breath, because Shopify's got you. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. With Shopify, you can get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates. No coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. Their powerful social media tools let you connect all your channels and create shoppable posts to help you sell everywhere people scroll. And Shopify makes it easy to manage all the details, like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff, like growing your business. The best time to start your business is right now, and with Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/realm.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gabrielli, and I've traveled to every single lesbian bar in the country for my podcast, Cruising. Each episode of Cruising features a different space and tells the stories of the humans that run it and the humans that call it home. You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Season 1 and 2 are available now, so be sure to binge them before Season 3, which will go beyond the bars to queer bookstores, farms, peace encampments, and more, premiering February 4th.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I'm 24 and my husband's 29. We met in a very weird way. I'm a Canadian and he's an American. We met because my mom had married a U.S. citizen and my husband is my stepbrother's best friend. So we've been together for about 2 years. The first 10 months of our relationship was long distance because I was in Canada and I was going to university. After I graduated, I spent a summer with him in the U.S. We tried to figure out ways so we could stay together and live together. Anyways, it got to the point where we ended up getting married so I could get a green card. No one knows we got married because we just did it through court, and we promised each other we would do it the proper way when the time is more right. However, my American stepfamily is very close, and my husband made it clear he didn't want anyone knowing because once we get married the traditional way, he doesn't want it to be talked about or anything. But I told my best friend that lives in America. She's my stepbrother's wife and also one of my husband's best friends from childhood. Her, my stepbrother, and my husband grew up together. I trust her a lot. I know she has my back and she's very loyal, but I'm worried that one day it could get out. I know she has not said anything yet, and I told her right away after we got married about 8 months ago. I mean, she is keeping it from her husband right now and obviously tells me all the time she wishes we would just tell the two of them openly. My husband is big on trust, and I know if he knew I lied to him and told his friend about our marriage, he would be extremely upset with me for breaking his trust. So basically my question is, to avoid anything coming out in the future, should I tell him or should I just keep it under wraps? And if he does find out, how do I go about explaining it? Now this is a little weird, but thanks for your help. Bye.
Why don't you just get married again? I feel like that's the solution. You guys are already married. I think, I don't know how trustworthy your friend is.
She's hiding it from her husband that is his best friend.
Best friend. Yeah, if you were going to tell a friend in that situation, like I would, was the wrong friend. Obviously, you can't go back in time. That is the wrong friend. Like, she is not your friend in this situation. She is your husband's best friend's wife. Doesn't matter how close you guys are. Like, that's the other relationship part. So, yeah, I think that I totally understand why you're worried and concerned. I would have told a different friend.
A Canadian friend,
but,
maybe? One that doesn't know any of these people?
Yeah, I mean, I would just get married for real. Like, they've been married for you've been married for 8 months, you said. So that's a good amount of time, and you guys are planning on, it's not like you got married for a green card and then there's no...
Yeah, you were together. You're together. Like, it wasn't like you did it to like stay in the country. Like, you're literally, your mom's here. Like, you guys have been dating for a while. You're married. I honestly don't see what the big deal is here. Like, as far as why you guys are keeping it secret.
I think it maybe, I mean, my only really knowledge of green card marriages is from the movie The Proposal. Fantastic film. So I don't know if maybe it's like, oh, he doesn't want to, like, maybe if he's more, my least favorite word on this podcast, traditional. And so maybe it's that, or maybe it's that, and yeah, this is my thought process, like, from watching The Proposal so many times. Maybe it's that if it's not like a wedding ceremony thing and you plan on getting married again, it becomes pretty abundant that you got married for the green card the first time and you don't want as many people to know. But also at the same time, like, I don't even necessarily think you have to get married. Like, this could have been, lots of people just get married at the courthouse in general. Like, you don't have to have like a big whole wedding. Mm-hmm. And so I think if that's what you guys want, then do that now, because eventually it is going to come out. And if he doesn't want to, I would be more suspicious if you were like, let's just like get married for real. Like, I would be more suspicious from him. And also it is a little rich. I won't lie. It is a little rich that he's saying that honesty is his big thing, but he's being like, don't tell anyone that we're married.
I think you need to tell him like immediately.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna,
you're like, we have to get married.
And because it's going to come out eventually, and you want it to come from you and not from his best friend, because then there's 2 more people that know, or 1 more person that knows before he knows that you've told. It's just a messy situation. You have to tell him.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't make sense to me that it's like, that you're afraid that he's going to be upset because honesty is a really big thing, but also that should apply for everyone. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't just apply he's asking you not to be honest with like your family and everybody like that. So I don't know. I would the first thing I would do is say, like, have a conversation with him about, like, you know what, like, I really hate keeping this from everybody. Like, I don't think you have to tell him you told your best friend already, but I think you should. But I would just say, I hate keeping this from everybody. This is like giving me so much anxiety. Like, I just like want to be able to like celebrate the fact that we're married and have this be something that everybody knows. And I want like my family to be there, and I want your family and all of that stuff. And like, let's do it soon. Like, let's do it like as that kind of thing. And then also, you know what you could even fucking do?
You can blame it on the quarantine.
That's what I was going to say. You could do that and blame it on the quarantine. Also, if you guys needed to find a way to live together, to stay in the country, and you're doing that actively, won't everybody else just know that you got married? Like, how else would you have done it? Yeah, if everybody knows that you guys are like living together, and they know, especially because your mom married an American too. I feel like everybody knows you guys are definitely married if you're like living together and staying together past any of that green card kind of stuff. So yeah, but you can even just say that like quarantine, like he can do like a quarantine proposal, and like you guys can say that you got court documents and you're getting like, and then you'll do a real marriage once you guys are out of quarantine. So you'll just have another fake marriage, before a big real one. So you'll have 2 real marriages, this little fake one that will cover up that you already had the like court ordered one, or not court ordered, but that one, courthouse one. And then you'll have the party.
Exactly.
I feel like they have to know though.
I would think so too.
Just get married. Just get married. That's the solution. Then nobody has to lie anymore. Well, should we go on to the next one? Oh, everybody, please ignore my trash. The Wi-Fi was sucking, so I opened the door if you're watching the video. Just close your eyes. Ignore the trash. It's Motz's chore, not mine.
So basically, I wanted some advice on my current relationship. I am 20. My boyfriend is 24. And we've been dating for about a year now. And I am a sex worker, cam girl, stripper, yada, yada. And with that, I met my boyfriend through that. He actually was buying content from me, and that later blossomed into a whole relationship. And then a few months into the relationship, he actually told me that he didn't want me stripping, which was a massive surprise to me because that's like how he met me and everything. And then we kind of got over that. I kind of changed his mind and, you know, explained my lifestyle a little bit better and made him understand like how this all works and stuff. And then now it's coming up that he doesn't want to go public with our relationship because he's afraid he'll lose friends over it, which is just a massive shock to me. And like, I mean, he's been hiding like the relationship for a while, and I just thought it was because he wanted to take things slow. Now finding out that he's embarrassed of what I do, and it's just really like soul crushing, you know? I also wanted to say that I'm a Cancer and he's a Libra, which will probably answer a lot of questions right now. So yeah, he doesn't really know what the fuck he wants, and he's kind of making up these excuses, but I just wanted to see your guys' perspective on that and see if that reasoning is valid, and that, like, just a perspective from somebody who isn't a sex worker, because all of my friends are in the industry and they have a very, you know, specific mindset of like, you know, respect what I do. We deserve respect, which we do, but it's like I also see where he's coming from his perspective as well. So I just want to see what you guys thought of the
Throw
situation.
the whole man away. Throw the whole fucking man away. Toss him, bundle him up, and chuck him.
Knocked over my mic. And then
I want you to drop kick the man away. Drop kick the man to fucking Mars. Yes. He's a piece of shit. He's a fucking piece of shit. Yeah. I hate this dude, and this is like a genre of dude of, oh yeah, I'm like gonna reap the benefits of sex work, but like it's also like, you know, you don't get my respect. Like, you're gross, but like I'm still gonna participate, but I like think that you're less than.
Right. Nope. That's not how it works. First of all,
it's
sex
harder work than I'm sure whatever the fuck he's doing.
In the story. Second, like like you were saying, he doesn't respect you at all. Like he just expects, you know, like you, I guess he calls himself, probably thinks that he's like saving you from this work.
But he wants her to be a whore in bed. You know that he wants her to he wants you to like turn all them fucking tricks. Of course.
And
just
he's
for him.
living. Yeah, and he's literally like I have like brought her from that, and now she needs to get a real job.
He's a piece of shit. And the thing is even if you abided and did all of that shit, I can guarantee you he would break up with you. Like, which sounds, it's not.
Yep, because that's not what he wants. Because he's living in the fantasy.
Like, he has no respect for you at all, and that's the issue. There's only one issue with, I mean, there's a lot of issues with like the regulation and like the safety and rights of sex work, but the only issue of respect is the fact that the people who are reaping the benefits of sex work do not respect those women. That's those are the fucked up people in the situation, and he is one of them. And you would think if somebody is going to be an active participant in supporting someone who's a sex worker, you would think that they are respectful and supportive of that. And those people exist, and he is not one of those people. And he's a piece of fucking shit. And I hate to hear you say that like you think his like feelings and reasons are valid. They're not. They're not. There's not a single part of them is valid, literally at all. And it's just, if he had an issue with this is also, if he had an issue with sex work, he wouldn't be participating in your sex work, but he doesn't have an issue with sex work. He has an issue with respecting sex workers. That's his issue. He's not looking at you like you're a human or someone who has value at all. And that's so fucked up and not what a relationship makes at all. And again, you'd think that someone who is a fan of yours, like he's 100% fetishizing you. Like he wants you to be like this is like, I'm not calling you this at all. I'm just thinking in like the straight dude terms. Like he wants you to be like a slut just for him. Like only for me. Like this is what I want. Like I'm going to get this girl that I like. I was paying for her stuff and now I don't have to pay for it. And now I'm getting all this special. Yeah. Like it's possessive and fucking gross. Like it is so fucking gross. Ugh. Especially because he was a fan first. It is now she's mine. It has become like I saw this. I got it. It is mine. Now nobody else can have it. And you're a person. You're not a thing. And you need to chuck the whole man away. He's not even a man. Drop kick the boy away. I hate him. Yeah. I hate him so much. I hate him.
I hate him too. And I hope that you find somebody that respects you and accepts you as you are. Yeah. Because there are men out there that
I literally say all the time that I think in an alternate universe, in a different life, I would be like a sex worker. I'd be a cam girl. Like, I just think I would love that. And all of my friends are like, yeah, that's very much your vibe. And I've asked Mott's, like, seriously, I'm like, if I ever decided I want to do it, he's like, oh, 100% would support you. Like, I would love that for you. Like, if that's what you want to do, totally go for it. Like, and sure, it's a hypothetical question in this situation, but it's a secure guy is not going to be like this. I don't know if my advice also is then maybe be a little bit more wary of fans. Like, I think that might make you put your guard down because, again, you assume that because they're supporting you, they're supportive. And like, if they're paying for content or paying for whatever, it doesn't mean that they like support you. And I wonder if that was kind of like the fast track of the relationship, that it kind of vetted him out and it felt like that. I think if you're going to date someone who like knows you or you meet through your work, I think I would be, just keep this in the back of your mind and extra cautious.
Wary, cognizant.
Ugh. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
Hey, are you interested in horror, but you don't have time to watch the movies? Check out Bloody Good Horror. We're keeping up with what's new, what's hot, we're covering the trends, and we're doing it from a place of love, but we're doing it with a critical eye.
We've seen it all, and it gives us a perspective that helps us when covering the genre.
We're also here for the horror curious, those who might not have the time to get to the theater every week, or if you're just too chicken to watch the blood fly.
Bloody Good Horror comes out every Friday, wherever you get podcasts, and we hope to see you there.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, guys, we are back from our break, and let's get into the rest of the calls.
I'm 26, also a Leo, August 4th. My question is regarding what to do when dating somebody and telling them that you don't want kids. I, in the past, have recently only had like sexual or fuck buddy, friends with benefits type of relationships. So haven't been very good at dating life per se. So it's kind of a new thing to be able to take it slower and just kind of be bringing up topics and getting to know each other. So my concern is that bringing it up too soon would freak somebody out. Like, why are you talking about kids? But at the same time, I don't want kids. So, and I actually can't have kids. I got my tubes tied when I was 23. I've always known that I haven't wanted kids. I mean, when I was a teenager, I kind of had the obvious like influences of like, oh yeah, you want kids, right? And you kind of just nod and smile and say, yeah, totally. But growing up and realizing what I want out of life, that kids are just not my future, and I'm not going to change my mind. My concern is, though, I don't want to wait too long to tell somebody that I'm dating that I can't have kids and that I don't want kids, because I don't want to lead them on. I don't want, because if that's a deal breaker for them, I don't want to, have them obtain feelings from me and down the road be like, oh, hey, by the way, I don't want kids, and then just have that ultimately crush them and have this awful, falling out. Any advice I would really appreciate. Love the podcast. Just started listening, actually. I listened during work all day, working from home during this awesome COVID. But I really appreciate any advice. Thanks.
Welcome. We have the same fucking birthday? Bitch, what? That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
I was going to say, I feel like kids are usually something you bring up on first dates. For me, it's usually part of like the initial conversation. So I don't think it's odd to bring it up during a first date.
No, I don't think it's weird at all. I think the only thing that would put somebody off in again, in a good way. Like the whole thing we talk about, like, oh, I don't want to scare somebody off. It's like, no, it's a good thing. Like
you're weeding them out because already like they're not the one for you.
Yeah, and their answers don't change on date 1 and date 100. Like it's the same sort of reaction, the same sort of thing. But I think it's something that I would just bring up in like regards to family. If you have like nieces or nephews, or you have something where you're just like getting to know each other, literally, again, it can be on the first date and talking about family stuff. And you can say like, oh, my nieces, nephews, like they're really cute. Like I definitely don't want any kids of my own, but like those are the only ones.
I love spending time with them, but I can give them back.
Yeah. And so you can say it in a casual way like that, but also on top of that, you can even just say like I don't want, like, at the risk of being like really forward, I just want to make sure that I'm honest with everybody I even go on a date with, whether or not it like leads to anything more serious, but I am not interested in having kids. Like if I friends like who are single, like going on dates, if like the first date, the like guys that they were going out with were like, hey, I have no interest in settling down and having a girlfriend. They'd be like, great, now I know, and I'm not going to waste my time. And I don't think that it's bad or weird at all. And again, like I hate the term there's a lid for every pot, because also I lose lids to pots all the time. It's like Tupperware. But truly, you're going to find somebody who is like, oh, I don't want kids at all either. This makes me even more into you because we're so similar and compatible. So I just think it might make it feel like rejection first, or it might feel like a lot more right off the bat, but that's just because you're weeding it out and you're not waiting. So I think it's a lot better to say it sooner rather than later. And then
and it's like the reverse too, because it could be like you said that if you you don't want to lead somebody on and then they like catch feelings for you, and then you tell them you don't want to have kids, and then that's the end of it. But it could be the same thing of you get like really into this guy and he's like, I want to have kids, and it's on you. And so it's like you should tell them sooner rather than later.
Dating guys who are around your age or older, I think that's also, if you're dating anyone a little bit younger than you, I would not bring it up in like a casual way. I would like be like, hey, I don't want, because they might, if you're dating like a 22-year-old guy, like, yeah, I don't want kids for like a long time either, but like down to fuck. But if you're looking for a relationship, I would, I think it's a good thing. I think it's the same thing of knowing if someone has kids, or if someone has no desire to get married, or someone's divorced. Like those are things,
or like religion, like if you're compatible that way. I feel like those are basic questions. And I think like most people are meeting people on dating apps as it is. And that's a question that they ask on all of them.
Yeah. Do you want
That's
kids?
like,
True. Yeah. Maybe just add it to your profile if you're not on the dating apps that like have it as an option listed. I used to, like, when I was helping like friends with theirs, and it was like people said that they didn't want kids, and if my friend wanted kids, we would swipe left on those people and be like, oh no, I'm not into that. So yeah, and again, if you're on other apps that don't have that as an option, you can even just in your bio of being like, I know I like so then you can even like make a be like quippy funny joke about it, of being like, you can call me mommy, but I don't want to be a mommy. I kind of like, I think it could be funny. So I really wouldn't stress too much about it. Just stick to your guns too. Don't let anyone tell you that like, oh, well, maybe like if you wait around, like who knows? Like as long as you're upfront, then if they get
her tubes are tight.
No, but that's what I mean though. But if they get hurt later on, the more upfront you are, then if they get hurt later on because they chose to believe it, they chose to like not really acknowledge it, then that's on them. And then that's not your problem.
Very true.
But yeah, best of luck. I hope you're masturbating a lot during this quarantine, because not going on a lot of dates that have.
I am.
I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years, lived together for 3 years. I got drunk, logged into his email because half of me had a feeling something was wrong. When I logged in, I saw he had sent himself a picture of his ex's little sister to a new email I had never seen before. We are both 27, turning 28 this year. His ex is 28, and her little sister turned 21 this year. I log into this random email and find hundreds of pictures of women on it, nudes his exes had sent him, and porn. But what really fucked with me was he had been sending himself pictures of his ex's little sister for 5 years. The pictures of her were screenshots of things she posted on Instagram. When I clicked on start, there were pretty much all pictures of her. I also find out he has a fake Instagram account. When I logged in, it was pretty much porn pretty much. He had hundreds of pictures of these women saved on Instagram, no one I knew. He followed a bunch of women who only post nudes, and they followed him back. No messages, only one from this month with a girl offering to sell him nudes and him asking for a preview before he does, and nothing else. I confronted him, and he tells me he has a problem and that he knows it. He says he's been wanting to get help for a long time, but didn't know how. He said he thinks he's a sex addict. I asked where he sent himself all these pictures from. He said it was an old phone, which I knew he had been taking with him to every house we moved to. I kicked him out, and I charged this phone when he left, and when I go on it, I find an app that can hide photos. When I click on it, I found all these nudes from exes, lots of porn, and also screenshots of pictures that girls he knows have posted on Snapchat and Instagram. I also found pictures of his ex's little sister he had taken back in 2015 when she was 16 and he was 23. He took a picture of her asleep, fully clothed, and one of her where she seems to be talking to him, and he cropped this picture so only her boobs are zoomed in. I also found a picture of my little sister in there. Her picture was from 2017 and was a screenshot of something she posted on Instagram. All these pictures show cleavage, but some of them don't. All of this has me really fucked up. He immediately saw a therapist after he left. He says he never masturbated to any of these pictures and just kept them. His therapist said he technically is a sex addict, even though he never acted on it, and said this is the result of sexual abuse trauma he endured as a child. He told her about the pictures of when the little sister was 16, and she said by law she can't report him because she was fully clothed in all of them. She said he's not a pedophile, he just hasn't dealt with trauma he has lived, and this was his fucked up way of coping with what happened to him. He hasn't been back since that night. He opened up with me about the abuse he endured for years, but I just feel like I can't see everything, and I don't know what to do. I've known him since we were kids, and we have a lease together until December.
Okay, I know we said drop kick the other man away. This is,
throat chop him.
Yeah.
Then drop kick him.
And
into a vat of boiling lava.
And I don't know how I feel about also this therapist either.
Also, is the therapist telling you this directly, or is this information that your ex is funneling through
This is just one of those things that I think you want our permission to be done with him and not be with him anymore. And I think like there's probably a part of you that feels like I don't even know how to say, but like now that you're knowing that, oh, there was sexual abuse in his childhood, that there's a part of you that maybe feels like you should forgive him and should feel bad and should like empathize with him. But you can feel shitty for the things that he has gone through and still be like, I can't be with you. And this was so grossly, vastly inappropriate. And I understand now that there are all of these triggers and history with you and stuff that had happened to you. And that really sucks. But that doesn't make what happened okay with me. And I'm done. And that's what I think needs to be there. Because I mean, that's the cycle of abuse. Like abusers got abused, so they abuse other people. But you have to break that cycle. And that has nothing to do with you at all. And it's not about you forgiving him and having him move on. Like he needs to get his shit together and it has nothing to do with you. I also think like, I don't know. The fact that there are pictures from like a 15, 16-year-old girl and like the therapist is saying like, I can't report that because she's fully clothed. And I just think that to me is so, I don't know, like it's so unimportant in the scheme of things. And for that to be one of the things that he tells you, it's like, that's like an image and protection and like legal thing versus an emotional issue aspect of it. Like it just feels like it's like to me it sounds like he's trying to get you back on these technicalities. Yeah. And it's not okay.
And I just think you've got to cut him off completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that you guys have a lease together, but you kicked him out. And yeah, he can continue paying his portion of the lease until it's done and then be done. And I think you don't talk to him and you don't continue. And I think, again, I don't believe in closure at all, but I think maybe for you treating this as opposed to a reason why this happened so then you guys can move forward. I think maybe this, knowing all the stuff that he said that his therapist said, maybe this for you can be the closure that to then move on and be done with this relationship because you already were looking through his, like that's the thing. Like there's other issues. You're looking through his phone and you know that. And I'm also like, I also really hate the like, oh, I've been wanting to get help, but I didn't. And
I didn't know how to go about it.
But immediately after she kicks you out, you immediately go to a therapist. Like, it's just a little too much. Like, and I understand if you are participating in like an addiction or something that you're like so deep in it or something that you don't want to be done. Like, you don't want to actually be through with it and you want to keep going along and doing what you're doing. But this has been going on for so long. And it's a huge part of like lying through your whole relationship. And that's like that trust. And
he has pictures of your sister too.
It's just gross. It's just, it doesn't, and this is the other thing that like, there is a huge correlation between sexual rapists and sexual offenders who have been sexually abused, but there's a lot of people who've been sexually abused who then don't go around and abuse other people. Yeah. And so it becomes less of an excuse and more of okay, we can tie this to this is what happened and this trauma and all of that. But it's not a guarantee. It's not an automatic sort of thing. And you can feel empathy for the things that he went through without wanting to continue and have your relationship with him and want to move on from this, because this is, I would not be able to. I would have lost my mind. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This sucks. I'm so sorry. Like, that sucks. Like, it already sucks when like you're looking through a significant other's phone because like you're gonna find something because you're looking in the first place.
She wasn't just like looking through his actual phone, but then his like burner phone too.
I think that your gut instinct of breaking up and being done with him, not seeing him, not talking to him, I think you have our permission if you're looking for that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's a piece of shit.
Piece of fucking shit. Ew. I also think of fucking pixelated if you're zooming in on these photos from 2015. I can't. And also, I don't believe for a second you never masturbated to them. Not for one
yeah.
second.
We need to bring that up. Of course he did. Like, what? So he's just looking at them and he's like, oh, that's cute. No.
And even the fact that the therapist, that to me, I'm like, there's no way. Either the therapist is a fucking crock or there's no way the therapist said that, where it was like, yes, even though you haven't been masturbating to them, it is still a sex addiction. If I was a therapist, I would be like, you're fucking masturbating to them. Don't lie to me. Like, don't lie.
What's the other purpose of you what's the purpose of you having these if you're not masturbating to them?
Ugh. Yeah, be done. Boy, bye. Boy, fucking bye.
Ugh. Ladies, trust your gut.
Mm-hmm. If you want to look through your man's phone, fucking do it. Do it. If you have that, like I've got this inclining, not because you're just like bored and being like, dude, that's how the girl found the furry stuff. It's just bored. But if you like have a suspicion and you have a hunch, fucking do it. Like you're thinking that and you're feeling that for a reason, and you're feeling it, you're thinking that and feeling that for a reason also because like you want to act on it. Like you want to know because then you want to have a conversation or you want to break up or you want to address it. Like it's not, you don't just do it and then you don't talk about it. Like that's not why.
Bitches on Comics is a bi-monthly interview podcast where we talk to the coolest LGBTQ plus folks and women in comics and pop culture.
Our unique perspectives and welcoming nature have earned us the honor of being named a best comic book podcast by Book Riot, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Comic Book Herald, and Comic Book Couples Counseling.
Bitches on Comics is hosted by moi, Monica Estrella Negra, filmmaker, writer, and co-founder of Audrey's Revenge Film.
And me, Essie Fleenor, comic and pop culture nerd and culture critic with writing in The Independent, Vice, Electric Literature, Star Trek, and so much more.
We're also both voting members of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ plus entertainment critics.
Join Bitches on Comics for in-depth, hilarious, and heartfelt conversations with the likes of Stephanie Williams, Leah Anderson, and the late, great Rachel Pollack.
Listen to Bitches on Comics on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or tune in at bitchesoncomics.com. New episodes every other Wednesday.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to see you next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay, it is time for Don't Blame Them. And this is when you guys give your own advice. And what episode is this from?
This is from episode 21 of season 5. And it was the original caller. She was dealing with her boyfriend had this friend that he considered his quote unquote sister, but they were very flirty and very unsibling like.
Yeah.
So here's somebody that's calling with similar experience.
Hey, Megan and Melissa. I am calling for the Don't Blame Them thing in reference to the girl whose boyfriend has a really close friend who is a girl who he considers his sister. That same exact thing happened to me. My ex-boyfriend, one of my ex-boyfriends, we were dating for a pretty long time, but like maybe 3 months into our relationship, I met this girl that he worked with that he knew before we started dating. And I could tell that they were really good friends and they were really close. And I asked him about it because I realized that, like, she would stay after she was cut and her last table left, and just, like, stay and have a beer with him and, like, touch him in, like, weird ways or, like, laugh at all of his jokes. And so I asked him about it. I was like, hey, so, like, what's up with y'all? Like, is there history that, like, with y'all or something like that? He's like, oh, no, she's, like, my sister. I was like, oh, okay. So that made me feel a little bit better. Then he quit that job, went to another job, lost that job, and then went back to the cook job where he knew that girl that he considered his sister from, and she was still working there. And I asked him, I was like, hey, is she still working there? And he was like, yeah, she is. We talk and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Then after he started working there, he started lying to me. He started sneaking around and, like, not letting me, you know, see his phone or stuff like that, like he normally would from the 2 years that we had dated. So, then, like, maybe a month after he started working at that place again, he broke up with me because he cheated on me with her. So, basically, if you have a gut feeling, because I had a gut feeling that something was going on between them, if you have a gut feeling, you're not crazy. So, like, just no matter what, go with your gut and trust yourself. That's always what I do and what I decide to do. So, yeah. That's basically my advice. You're not crazy. Also, you're not alone. This happened to a lot of people. So, like, you know, it's hard, but also trust your gut. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Love the show.
I think that sums up pretty much the whole show. You're not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Go with your gut. You're not alone.
Yeah. I need everybody to stop saying, am I being crazy? You're not. You're never being fucking crazy. And also, like, when you look at it like a third party of being like, am I being crazy? Like, my boyfriend's fucking another girl and, like, I'm kind of pissed. And it's like, if someone else said this, like, are you kidding? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is wild. It does make me rethink if Leo and I should just not refer to each other as siblings. Like, when he dates girls, I'm like, so, like, this is how they must. I mean, we're not like that at literally at all.
But they don't know that. They don't know you guys.
But now I wonder, I'm like, maybe that, like, I always thought that was the safest way to be like, I come in peace. Like, he's like my brother. Like, she's like my sister. And so now I'm like, well, maybe we're like cousins. No, that sounds like you. In certain states, you'd get it down. Yeah. I mean, she said it all. It's go with your gut, trust your gut, always. Always, always, always. And also, if you're going for, like, advice to your friends, pick the friend who's, like, kind of a bitch. Don't pick the friend who's so nice. Like, I love Sydney more than anything in the entire world. She is the greatest person ever. Sydney is, like, who I will I obviously tell her everything, but, like, she will support me no matter what I want ever. Like, anything I do all the time.
She's going to see the best in every situation.
Because she also sees the best in people. She's not a pessimist. Like, she hates people, but, like, she definitely is positive and gets along well with everybody and, like, super personable. And I pick my, like, cuntiest, bitchiest friends for advice. You're there. You're on that list. It's like, and that's what you got to do. Good God. And I'm sure there are, and like she said at the end of that, like, I'm sure we could have played so many more. Everyone's been through this where it's like, no, don't worry, she's fine. You're like, feel like she's not fine. I don't trust her. Little did she know, she could not, in fact, trust her.
Trust him.
Yeah, and him. Ugh. Well, that is it for our episode. If you guys want to call in for an upcoming one, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And what else? Oh, should we do another quick update? If you guys are applying for our private Facebook group, if you do not have a public profile, you cannot join. And that is, yes, we are admitting we are going back on our word, but we surveyed everybody in the group and talked about it. And everybody in the group 99.9%, well, now 100% of everybody in the group is using real Facebook profiles, and they've all agreed that it makes them feel more comfortable to have everybody else who's applying. Everybody needs to be on the same playing field, because the reason why, if you're private, you don't want to see someone that you know in the group and you don't want them to know it's you. But the issue is if you're private, then everybody else, they don't get that same benefit or that same luxury of knowing. They don't know. Maybe it's their fucking boyfriend who's trying to join in this fake thing. They can't know.
Or the one that's cheating with him.
Exactly. Maybe it's that bitch.
Yeah.
No, not that bitch.
Yeah.
Maybe it's her, because that bitch is good. Maybe it's her.
That girl.
That one.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
No, guys, you can get my book if you haven't got it yet. Hell yeah. If you want the audiobook too, it's all available. You're not special. What? Oh, should we throw to a clip?
Why don't we listen to?
Oh my God, guys!
To the audiobook.
We got an exclusive because we know some people.
Yeah, we know some people.
We know some people who made this happen. So here's a clip to force you guys to buy it. Not force you, but like sway you.
Give you a little taste.
I didn't have a big sister I could stay up late with and talk about makeup, boys, parties, and how sometimes I felt sad for no reason. We're all trying to pretend that we have it all figured out. The last thing I wanted to do was admit to my peers that I had doubts. I'm writing this book because when I was 16 and falling in love for the first time, I wished I had an older sister to talk to about it. The same for the time when I was 17 and swore my heartbreak had left me beyond repair. For those times, I locked myself in my closet and cried until I wished I didn't exist anymore. I'm writing this to tell you that you're not alone in the thoughts you think. Somebody else has felt the way you feel right now at this very moment. I'm here to tell you, despite what you've been told, your problems are not unique. Your struggles have been a part of everybody else's life too, and the battle you're fighting right now involves a bigger army than you know. I hate to break it to you, baby cakes, but you're not special. The upside is you're not alone.
Wow, that was so great, Melissa. Wasn't that fantastic?
It was some good reading there.
Oh my God, just the sounds. It was beautifully done. Crisp. Beautifully crisp. It feels like it might have been recorded in this room. Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Wild. Wow. So we have links all down below if you guys want to get my book. And also if you want to check where to get it wherever you are in the world. I literally have links for every single country in the entire fucking world. Just go to my Instagram. They are linked there.
Wow.
Well, that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Oh, follow us on Instagram. We're close to 10,000. Don't blame me, pod.
Yay.
Okay, we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, camera operator Amanda Lechner, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was,
He's great. We love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Subscribe to the Ghost Story Guys now on your favorite podcatcher to hear episodes like High Strangeness in Chicago, The Mystery of Missing Time, and The Haunting of Vietnam, along with dozens of others.
We've talked about mythical bridges, doppelgangers, haunted seaside towns, and so much more.
Remember that story about the guy who was trapped inside a dream and something was hunting him? That was upsetting.
Yes it was.
Want us to help ruin your sleep? Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.